Hello everyone, I am Meera K. I secured an All India rank 6 in Civil Service Examination 2020. While syllabus completion and multiple revisions are crucial for any competitive examination, what actually makes it or breaks it for you is strategy. Strategy on how you spend the day of the examination and how you approach the paper. So today I'll be sharing with you my strategy both for the exam day and how I approach my papers. So if you are ready, come on, let's rewind to exam day. So if we go to the night before my exam day, there was one thing very clear in my mind, that I can't control what is going to come in the examination paper the next day. But there is one thing I can control, that is the external circumstances. I can control if I'll take my hall ticket to the exam hall or not, if I'll have ink in my pen or not, if I'll have all the ID cards and other necessary documents with me, if I'll reach well on time to the exam venue. So all these things I can control, and I knew that. And this was something I very meticulously planned on the night of the exam day. So this helped me in two ways. One thing was that it gave my mind something to do. It took my mind off the harrowing thoughts of what if I didn't know anything in tomorrow's examination, or what if I fell ill and I can't write the exam tomorrow. There are a lot of thoughts going inside your head. So I focused on things that you can actually do. I collected the pens that are required. I collected other materials that is required. I made sure that I have some 2-3 copies of the ID card. I had a water bottle filled the night before, and I also had my mode of transportation arranged the night before so that there are no hassles. I also had a backup plan in case my transportation failed to show up, but this was me being a bit hyperactive on all for those things. I wouldn't say you have to do all these things, but then if you focus on such things, it will help you with your examination. Everything will go smoothly the other next day, and it will also take your mind of the other thoughts that you'll have that is going to harm you. Now coming to specifically the day before the prelims, one thing I always do just before the prelims is revise the factual bits, the places in news and the indices, reports, the books and their authors, especially from modern India. So topics like this which you can't really recall, the constitutional bodies, non-constitutional bodies, their composition. So these are things that might get muddled up in your mind. So this is something I always revise the day or the night just before the prelims. So this was one thing I did. Sleep doesn't come obviously, but then one thing I did was I developed this practice of sleeping around 11 o'clock, like 1 month before the prelims, so that I can at least get into the groove of sleeping early during the exam days. And another thing I started practicing early on was that I used to listen to Om meditation, Om sound in loop. So if you have, I'm not saying you have to go for that itself, but if you have any meditation or any sound or any song that will help you calm down, make use of it and try to sleep early with it. And then make sure that you wake up the next day on time, so that you put your alarm, and don't just make sure that your phone has a charge so that your alarm will ring the next day. So things like that, things that you can control, make sure you do. Now the night before the mains, you have some 5 nights to spend before each mains paper. So the night before the GS papers were spent very hectically revising everything. But again, one thing I made sure was that everything that I can control, all the things that I would need for the examination, that would be always in place. So this is one thing I always made sure. And I'll always have a checklist. I'll double check the checklist, and I'll also keep a spare part of all the things that are required, so that if something goes wrong, I'll always have a backup option. So this is one thing I did. Then revision, again, if you've missed some topics, you can revise it, but make sure you're not reading anything new on the night before the exam. Please make sure if you have some friends who bring up new topics or new materials every time you meet them, please do not talk to them on the night before the exam, because it's going to cause you a lot of mental trauma. You'll feel that you've not studied anything, you've forgotten everything, and then the next day it might mess up with your mind. So don't get into that state. If you have some friends or family that you can talk to them, have a good dinner, go to sleep early, so that your next day you can begin your next day on a positive note. So this is one thing I did both before the prelims and the mains. So now going to the morning of the exam day, If we specifically go to my prelims day morning, I was in a bit of anxious state because I had failed the prelims the last time and I knew too much was dependent on this prelims. So I was a bit anxious. But then one thing I made sure was that I wouldn't repeat the same mistakes that I did in my previous prelims, which was again too much anxiety. Because prelims is something you need a lot of clarity of thought and you need a lot of presence of mind and common sense to answer. And all these things will get muddled up in your brain if you have a lot of anxiety. So what I did was that again I tried to focus my attention elsewhere. I tried to focus on things that I can control, like having a good breakfast and again double checking if I have everything. Then talking to my friends. I had a few friends who accompanied me to the venue. They were also writing the prelims. So we talked to them on some random things about where we are going to eat after prelims, things like that. So that your mind is diverted from the actual prelims examination. And then few minutes before the prelims, I stopped talking to everyone and I just, kind of meditated, you can say, but it was not proper meditation. I was feeling that I have 100 questions in front of me. I have the answers to it in front of me. I just have to seek it out. That is the only thing you have to do in this prelims. And that was what I did, or I tried to do, and I think it worked for me. And when you go to the mains morning, I was in a relatively calmer state because I had prepared well for mains. I had done all the notes and revisions and everything. I was relatively calmer compared to prelims because I knew that even if I didn't know anything, I can write something today. And one quote was getting repeated in my head. This was Andeep Durishetty sir's. He had written a very beautiful piece from despair to destiny once he cleared his exam with a rank 1. He had written that in those 3 hours, for those 20 questions, I'll write and I'll write them well. And this was the only thought that was going inside my head, that I had to write those 20 questions to the best of my abilities. So I was doing this repeatedly. I don't have to outdo anyone. I don't have to, overperform anyone. I just have to give the best of my abilities and best of what I know. One of the days what happened was we were taking a scooter to the exam hall and I forgot my helmet. And my mental state got into such high that, what if the police stops us? What if I get late for the exam? What if something happens? And throughout the half an hour journey to the exam venue, this thing was going on inside my head, and I was in a very nervous breakdown kind of state once I reached the mains venue. So please don't let this happen to you. Take everything that you need, and again, as I said, try to control everything else except the exam, because exam will fall into place once you have everything else settled. Now, reaching the exam center. For prelims, I reached around 15 minutes early to the center, and the center was known to me because it was the same venue of my previous prelims, 2018 prelims. So what was going on was that I wrote a prelims here and I had cleared it, so I can do it again. So this kind of positive thing was running behind me. But then because this was a corona year and we didn't know how the prelims was going to be held, there were a lot of protocols and you had to put on masks and sanitizers and everything. There was a stress of writing amidst a pandemic. So that kind of stress was there. But other than that, again, because this pandemic thing was going on, it kind of took my mind off the prelims, actual prelims. And then I had a good breakfast. I reached on time and I just went and sat inside. I found my room. I checked my roll number. I found my room. I went and sat there. Luckily, it was open. And yeah, I didn't really think about the people around me. All I had to think was that at least some people will get selected from this exam hall and I just had to be one among them. That was the only thought in my head. I didn't think about the competition or anything. Again, prelims is just about clearing a cutoff. It's not about outdoing anybody else or anything. So yeah, I just wanted to be one among those who get selected from that center. That's all. Now, getting the question paper, I don't remember which set I got, but then I remember that the first few questions were very easy questions in the 2020 set. So I thought that the prelims is very easy, but I was getting a bit worried that the cutoff might go a bit high. So what I did was that I knew I couldn't trust this because some incident happened in 2019 prelims. Somehow it got into my head that if I could answer a lot of questions from the first 10 questions, that means the prelims is easy. and the cutoff is going to be high. So in 2019 prelims, in my first 10 questions, I was able to answer some 7 or 8. And I thought that the prelims is very easy. But then after the 10th question, I couldn't answer a single question till some 40 or 45. And I was getting more and more worried and anxious that this is an easy paper, but I'm not able to work any question out. And that kind of impacted my performance in 2019 prelims. So I didn't want the same thing to happen this time. So I decided to read through it once. I just quickly went through it. So there are two things that happen. One thing is that you get a hang of the question paper. Second thing is that you might get the answers to certain questions from some other part of the prelims. Some other question might give you a hint to some previous question. So going through it once is actually helpful. So that's what I did. I went through it once and then I filled my OMR sheet very carefully. I didn't want to take the stress of again making a mistake there and going through that hassle. So I filled it out very carefully, and then initially I bubbled only the questions which I completely knew of. So that was around 20 to 23 questions which I marked in the initial attempt. I took around 3 rounds of reading to finish the paper, and I attempted around 90 to 92 questions. I didn't attempt more than that. Again, this was a mistake I did in my 2019 attempt. Again, this was there in my head that you had to attempt 95 plus to get a good score in prelims. And 2019 prelims, my good attempt would have been somewhere around 88 to 90. I had done some 88 questions and I had done them well. But then somehow in my hurry to make it some 95, I bubbled a lot of questions and all the 6-7 questions were wrong that I bubbled last in the hurry. And I missed the final cutoff by 1 mark in prelims. So I didn't want that to happen. So I just stopped where I could eliminate up to 2 or 3 options and where I could make some educated guesses. I didn't make any blind guess this time. Now coming to my paper attempting strategy, I would say for prelims again my strategy was very simple and time tested, I would say. In the first round, I go 3 times through the question paper, all the 100 questions. And whichever question I'm 100% sure, which I know that this is absolutely correct, this is the answer, that I'll mark, and I will mark it with a pen itself. I'll not use pencil or anything, I'll just go directly bubble it. So that will come to around 20 or less than 25 most probably for almost everyone. Same for me. And in the second round, I would be looking for the keywords. There are certain words that can help you eliminate things. For example, if there is some extreme words like only or alone or all, things like that, you can most probably eliminate, because when someone says that this is the only thing that happens, just one exemption will make that statement wrong. So such extreme keywords, or there are certain other things that you can use to eliminate. For example, in the options itself. So if you have eliminated one statement, there might be an option without that statement, which will be the right answer. So this thing again I try in the second round. So there is this quote from Sherlock Holmes, which I always keep in mind while doing prelims. It says that when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. So that is the thing with prelims also. If you have eliminated something that is absolutely impossible, whatever remains, however less possibility or less probability of occurring, it might be the answer. So you can give a try there. So this is one thing you can keep in mind for prelims. So this is the second round. And in the third round, I'll go for not wild guesses but some educated guesses, where I can't eliminate 2 or 3 statements, but if I've eliminated one statement and I have a 50-50 chance of getting the answer correct, I might go for it if my attempts are not high enough. So this is my paper attempting strategy. And if I have to show an example of how to eliminate, I'll just take last year's question paper. So if you go to the first question, there is this question, consider the following statements. Aadhaar, something about Aadhaar, so I don't have an idea what it is about. I didn't have an idea. I think I got this question right also. So the question is about which of the following statements above is or are correct. First thing I do when attempting is that I'll underline the keyword, correct or incorrect. So that is something where a lot of people will make a lot of mistakes. Incorrect statements, I'll mark the correct statements, and UPSC will give that in the option also. So this thing I'll mark and make sure what I'm writing is correct. And then there are some questions where you have to arrange from north to south or east to west. So I'll just draw this diagram so that I don't get my directions wrong. So yeah, these are some things you can do. And then I'll go to the options. So there is a statement, Aadhaar metadata cannot be stored for more than 3 months. I don't know what is Aadhaar metadata. I might be a very, it's coming from topper, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something that I should know, but I don't know. State cannot enter into any contract with private corporations for sharing of Aadhaar data. Okay, so I don't know again. Then there is a third statement. Aadhaar is mandatory for obtaining insurance products. So this thing is a extreme keyword, mandatory. So if there is at least one insurance product that you can get without Aadhaar card, then this third statement can be eliminated. So once you eliminate the third statement, you've eliminated option D and you've eliminated option C. So you just have option A and option B left. And so both option A and option B has point number 4 on it. So 4 is automatically correct. You don't even have to read it. So now I have to choose between 1 and 2. So 1, Aadhaar metadata cannot be stored for more than 3 months. Again, that sounds like a suspicious statement. What if some data can be stored for more than 3 months? Again, this is a very flawed logic if you ask me. But then this works in the UPSC prelims because it's a bit of common sense, and I would eliminate the statement and I would mark the option B, which I think is the right answer. Please forgive me if that's not the right answer, but this is how I would solve a question paper. Yeah, so this is my kind of logic, and this I'll not dare mark in the first or second round. This I would mark in the third round only. So this is some kind of commonsensical. I've eliminated one statement and I have come at 2 options. But then 1 and 2, it's very difficult to eliminate. So I'm using a very flawed commonsensical understanding to come at option B, which I'll definitely mark in my third round. So this is how my paper attempting strategy goes for prelims. Coming to my paper attempting strategy for mains, one thing I made sure is that I always made it very easy for the examiner. Another thing is that I'll divide the whole paper into 2-3 parts. And for the answers which I don't know anything about, which I'm clueless about, I'll still write a 1 or 1.5 page answer. Talking about the interview day, I had reached Delhi some 2-3 days before the interview. So there was some new policy, the national monetization scheme was being implemented, or some news was there about it. So I just went and looked what it is about, and I made a small opinion of myself on it. If at all it comes in the interview, and it came in the interview. Delhi was a good experience for me. It was something new. So I was just enjoying the thing, and then getting inside the UPSC building again was again a dream come true. I had the materials to cover it. It was all kept in 5 different folders so that every day I had to cover this much. And in the second page, I just immediately saw my name because it was the shortest name. A lot of people calling you, wishing you. It's surreal at the same time, it's very humbling also because you realize that all this love that you're getting, all the wishes that you're getting, it's not for the person Meera, it's for the tag that you're going to get. And that is a huge responsibility, and it's a daunting task, the kind of responsibility that is being handed over to you.